Hi, I'm Danny, and I'm an American Idiot. All right, so what's happening here is we're playing some bar chords, but we're focusing on the bottom part of the bar chord. So I'm going to start off by playing A flat. If you're not sure what an A flat bar chord is, here's the entire chord. We bar on the 4th fret, and then I'm going to bar with my first finger. I'm going to place my 3rd finger on the 6th fret of the A string, my 4th finger on the 6th fret of the D string, and then I'm going to place my middle finger on the 5th fret of the G. So here's a full A flat chord. But as we're playing this song, we're just going to focus in on the bottom 3 strings, which will make an A flat power chord. Could also be called an A flat 5 chord. So you can form the entire chord, but focus in just on the bottom part of the chord. Okay, the next chord we're going to play is going to be a D flat power chord. Once again, we're going to form the entire chord. So I do that by placing my first finger on the 4th fret of the A string, and then my 4th finger, you can also use your 3rd finger, I usually use my 4th finger, I'm going to place on the D, G, and B string on the 6th fret. So here's the full D flat chord, but we're just going to focus in on the bottom part of the chord. We're going to be strumming pretty hard, so it's not going to be super scientific about which strings we hit. So if you get some of the top part of the chord, that's cool. If you get the bottom part of the chord, that's cool. But on the record, he's focusing more on the bottom part, more on the power part of the chord. That's why it's called a power chord. So we're going to focus more on the A, D, and the G string. But if you get the B string in there, that's cool. Okay, the next chord we're going to go to is going to be a power chord on G flat, which will be the same as the A flat, but we're just going to move that down 2 frets. And then we're going to go back to the D flat, and then we're going to go back to the A flat, and finally landing on G flat. Okay, so let me play the first part of the opening riff. Now let's talk a little bit about the rhythm here. With the right hand, what I'm doing is playing down towards the floor, followed by an upstroke towards the ceiling. And then as I switch chords, I have a downstroke with the right hand, but I'm not really playing a chord on that downstroke. It just puts me in position to get to the next chord. Now as I switch to the D flat, I'm going to play up, up. Now this is going to be followed by a downstroke, which is kind of a scratch that just gets me into position to play the next chord, which is G flat. Now the G flat I'm going to play up 2 times. So here's what we've done so far. Okay, now I'm going to play all downstrokes. D flat, A flat, G flat. So here's this whole first part of the riff. Okay, now I repeat that riff exactly except for the last chord. Instead of playing G flat, I'm simply going to play the top 4 strings open. Beautiful sound, huh? It's much more about the attitude than being precise with these chords, so keep that in mind as you're playing this. If you play a slightly different rhythm, that's cool, as long as you have good time and you're playing with attitude. So the first round we're going to go to the G flat chord, and then the second time we play the riff, we're going to play the top strings open. So let me put that together for you. Okay, and then we repeat that. So let me put it together for you 2 times. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the verse. The verse for this song starts off with the vocals singing along with the kick drum, and then the guitar answers the vocal line. It's going to be very similar to the intro, but we're just going to play one of those riffs that we learned in the intro, and then the vocals are going to come back in. So what we do is we have the vocals, and then we start by actually playing on beat number 4 with the open strings. And then we're going to play the first riff. Vocals come in again. And once again on beat 4, we're going to play the open strings. And then we play the second riff. Starts all over again. Vocals sing. On beat number 4, we're going to play the open strings. Back to riff number 1. And finally, on the last round, the only difference is we're going to stay on A flat. So the last phrase sounds like this. If we start the open strings on beat 4, we have. And then we're into the chorus. So let me play the entire verse. So I'll pick it up from after the vocals have started. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the verse.